Hey everyone, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome to the start of a brand new Total War Rome 2 DEI Divide et Impera campaign here today on the channel. We're playing as the highly requested Mauryan Empire. We're playing as a Proto-India. So, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff if you want to see more Rome 2 on the channel. Alright, let's get stuck into this campaign. Now, the main objective of this series is to give rise to India and Total War Rome 2 and Hindufy the Middle East. So, unfortunately in Rome 2, the Indian subcontinent, well, isn't in the game. So we're going to be starting things off in southeastern Iran, sort of on that Pakistan border. The Mauryan Empire is only in DEI. Now, from what I've experienced limitedly, they're a kinda broken faction. I'm not gonna lie. Their unit roster is very strong. The elephants are great, probably the best in the game. Their melee infantry late on is quite good. Particularly, they got good armor. The spear infantry is kind of mid. Same along with the missiles. Their cav's not the best, but overall a pretty strong roster. So in this series, we're going to be coming up against Arabs, Parthians, Hellenic Greeks in the various successor states, Bactria, the Seleucids, and potentially the Egyptians. So we're going to start things off by securing our dynasty, getting our family members married off. Now, there is a unique government mechanic. It doesn't go by empire, republic, or tribalism. As we're sort of like an extension of the Mauryan Empire out here, we can basically like request certain things, which is quite nice. So there's a fair few ways we can go in this series. We could push down into the Arabian Peninsula. We'll see how things go. It just largely depends on RNG when the Seleucids and their vassals break up. Sometimes they can remain loyal. Sometimes only half of them revolt. And essentially we want to try and divide and conquer those that break off. So I think we'll go with military traditions here. So we currently have the province of Makkah. Now what we want to try and do is get spice as quickly as possible, and we want to try and trade and flog that through the Middle East. So here are the like later heavier units that I was saying. So war animals is probably not a bad idea, getting cavalry and elephants in. So food is going to be an issue as well at some point here in the desert. So maybe getting a grain supply, maybe getting fishing as well at some point. So we do have some elephants. Generals wise, we can get access to elephant generals quite early on. They're expensive, but they're probably worth it in my opinion. So let's start things off while getting just some basic infantry. And we've got two lots of archers from the get-go, Persian and Indian. The Persians have the damage, while the Indians have the range. So at the moment, it's probably not bad to get a mixture of the both, as obviously you want the damage to inflict higher damages, but the range allows you to start peppering the enemy a lot sooner, and it might even cause the enemy to close the distance on your army in a land battle, and might be more, it gives them more of an incentive to close the distance and engage you. So having a mixture of the two is probably not a bad idea. Start reducing hit points and follow up with the heavies. Okay, so we're currently Hinduism as our culture, so there's not going to be any other essentially allied factions. So here's the government actions. We can set up colonies, we can go with Hellenic interchange, we can spread Buddhism, and we can request additional reinforcements. Now this is quite expensive, and there are negative bonuses to do so. So I don't know if it's going to be quite some time where we're going to have like a spare 10k, 5k here and there, and then there's negative benefits. So I'm unsure how many times we're going to actually use these. Okay, so getting the entire province here is probably our play, and it's probably not a bad idea to get an additional general in. We do have a bunch of family members, so we want to try and get our faction leaders to, well, start leading. So here are the 4 units you can get from. So that's pretty good. An infantry unit, a chariot unit, a cavalry unit, or an elephant unit. So I think we'll go with the elephant riders there. It is going to cost us a pretty penny of 950 coins, but then the upkeep is even a lot on top of that. So you're really spending next to nearly 2,000 off the rip. So that's something to keep an eye on. Alright, let's end the turn and continue.
Honorable
Oh, Axum has war decked us. You gotta be kidding me, man. So these are Egyptians down here. Okay, so we just got the RNG of being attacked. Great. Okay, so at the top of the turn, we might actually negotiate peace with Axum. I don't know why they straight up declared war upon us. That's just infuriating. Sometimes you can get lucky. Yeah, if you're quick enough, you can do it straight away before you do any actions. I think you can usually force for peace. That was just anti-player bias coming in. So, that's annoying. Okay, so I think I want to get a spice route here, because that's quite valuable. We'll be able to trade that as a resource, because spice is an amazing resource in Rome too. The only problem is we're obviously locked down here due to the Red Sea and the Arabian Peninsula. So until we get a port in the Levant area towards Antioch, we're not going to be able to trade with most of Western Europe. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. Oh, perfect. So Askragat, the Parthians to the west of us, have actually declared their independence. Oh, that's really perfect. Well, let's mobilize our military forces. And we'll get a dignitary and a spy as well. So, looks like we're going to be pushing westward a lot earlier. Alright, so in this particular campaign, there's a fair few ways we can go. I think basically becoming the supreme governors of Persia is the ideal. It's easier said than done, because you don't want to push too far north into the Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, like Kazakhstan, modern day territory, and then get cut up by cavalry horse lords. Also, if the Seleucids hold, you don't want this Hellenic, Greek, Egyptian, because it's technically Greek at the moment. The Ptolemy monarchy is ruling over the lands of Egypt, and Bactria to gang up against you. So we'll just sort of see how we go. So there's also Persians and Parthians. There is a difference, so we'll see how we go with that. So we're going to join that war and essentially go after the successor state here. So we've gotten quite lucky that the first faction to rebel is on our border. So we'll be able to push up and take Bam, and then the port city hopefully as well. So I might try and secure some alliances, maybe with Bactria, maybe with Persia, Media, the Arabian states. I haven't decided just yet. We'll just see how we go. You can actually try and conquer that southern Arabian Peninsula if you want to, but it's just logistically going to be a little bit hard to get over there. So there's a fair few ways you can go in this campaign. Okay, so we've got an attrition report. We've lost a couple hundred, which is understandable. Okay, so let's activate the dignitary here as we make our way through the desert. Now, I'm just going to move my spy north. We don't want to be moving into the fog of war and getting intercepted by an army if we don't have to. That's good. So it looks like they've been pushed south more. So we're going to try and take Bam. Can I get to there without losing attrition? There's not much of a garrison there, though. Mostly Persian infantry. Also, as we're in a bit of a in Iran, we're sort of in a cluster of cultures at this time period. So in DEI, which is fantastic, we're going to have access to Persian, Parthian, I guess like Hellenic troops as well. Maybe even some Arabian as well, which would be cool. Can't get many trade rights just yet. Seems like they're going to be sitting there down in Hermosia. Alright, let's end the turn and continue. Research complete. We've encountered Pontus. Okay, so why do we see them? I don't know why. They're so far north. We can't get any negotiations with them, which is understandable. Okay, well, let's move you westward, just in case you get attacked, so you can bring in the garrison, and we don't want to waste movement, so we'll sit you there. We'll get some more recruitment on the way, and let's go with logistics 1, I think, or maybe we're better off going with economy, preferred markets. Yeah, maybe getting the wealth, because we are running a little bit low at the moment. We haven't even got a full stack, and we can't really rely on heaps and heaps of trade rights for this particular campaign. Alright, let's move into Bam now. Alright, so we're actually outnumbered slightly. Not the best army in the garrison, but numerically they have quite a few. We're about 65% to win this one, but only 58% of our forces will remain. We'll manually play it and have our first battle of the campaign. Okay, so they're going to come out and march against us. So let's see how we go. Now, heavy chariots in Rome 2 are traditionally very, very strong, but maybe not so much with this Indian variant. So here is our Hindu, Indian, Mauryan infantry. Look how fantastic these guys look. And then we've got our Persian archers and Indian archers in the rear as well. Okay. He's got a tiger on his back. Alright. Let's advance. Put the chariots on the left. Same with our archers. Try and close the distance. We'll deploy our elephants as well, but they have taken a little bit of attrition there. They're essentially light elephants. All they've got is a tarp on them. So, unfortunately, a couple of them didn't make it over the mountains. Very cool, with various war paints. Alright, let's quickly move up. So, we're going to use the turmoil in the Seleucid Empire. Various vassals are rising up, declaring their independence. And now that they won't be saved by General Seleucus or his descendants, Antiochus and whatnot, won't send an army to save the conquest of them. So let's move up. We'll be able to use our Indian archers for the range, and then the Persians to deal the damage once they come in. Slowly but surely moving to the open field. Now, here are the Persian archers. Now, we're going to have range on them, so we're going to start peppering them soon. And they've also got spearmen there as well. But let me know tips and tricks in the comments for you guys that have played a Mauryan Empire campaign. It's been so requested. It's on the list. Same with a bunch of other Total War Rome 2 campaigns. I still technically haven't played as Nabatea. There's still a fair few Thrace as well. So we've wrapped up the Rome 2 Stainless Steel campaign recently. I've still got the save for the Massalia one, but I feel like forming a Hellenic Greece is now done. But I've got some time here to start this particular campaign, record a bunch, and start uploading you this particular series as much as I can. So support it if you want to see more, and yeah, let me know how your campaign goes, because there's a fair few ways you can go in this campaign. I'm trying to think we should just make a thunder run to Greece or something. That might be quite fun. I would love to see how this unit roster actually goes up against Greeks in, well, Greece, or the Carthaginians or whatnot. It's going to take us quite some time to like invade Greece, but I would love to see Indian units over there. Okay, so our Indian archers are starting to put down some arrows. They're starting to loose off, and it does seem like the Persians are now getting their shots off as well. Alright, we are just eviscerating their Persian archers there. We'll move around with our chariots. Now they have taken a little bit of damage attrition wise, so we'll try and slink around here. Preferably we won't go for the infantry just yet. We'll make sure we go with melee mode so they properly get an engaged charge. Okay, I'm going to move my archers back here as they've overextended over that front line as they're starting to close the distance. Let's move back. My general is going to try and focus on one of the remaining arch units. Thankfully we've been quite strong in defeating the 2 arch units. There's only one left. And then I guess we'll go for the general. We're keeping my elephants further back. Even a couple stray shots, I don't particularly want to lose them. Okay, they're starting to... Okay, on that right-hand side, they're starting to peel off and charge. Now, they charged and now they're not exactly committing. They were trying to wrap around, I guess. So we'll give out some attack orders, as they are mostly spearmen and they are a garrison. This is not a proper field army, so they will be lacking somewhat. Okay, I think the chariots have caused a little bit of kerfuffle. Okay, there's an opportunity here to surround and throw a lot of our units into this, but here we go. Brave sons of India. Nice. Looking to conquer the Middle East. Okay, they're just like instantly evaporated. Let's go for the general unit. Now, might have to be a little bit careful with him as it is a phalanx, but his army is melting around him regardless if he holds as a general. They're now crushed. The battle is very much turning in our favor. Let's peel some units down to deal with the general. We might even get a good charge in here. So I haven't really seen the chariots in too much action just yet. They're not like the vanilla Rome 2 chariots for Egypt. They're actually like busted. But I think they're a little bit more well balanced in DEI. We'll get a charge in, we'll see how we go. Yeah, they just seem to be not as impactful as I would like. Because chariots in most Total Wars are just busted, especially vanilla. They're very, very hard to balance. Nice, victory. We continued on just to run them down, and we've claimed a decisive victory. Only losing 92 men. Not the most difficult of battles, but I thought we should manually play our first just to get a bit of a taste and a tease and get familiar with this unit roster. So far, infantry, mixture of archers, good. Let's occupy. Bam! Thank you, ma'am. And, oh, okay. So it's a unique building. Minus banditry, holdout, wealth, all regions. Okay. Yeah, so there's quite a few cities in the Middle East here with very unique bonuses. Obviously, we got like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. There might even be a couple of others here and there as well. So, fertile grounds for conquest here. Okay, so they're just down in the south. So they are a Persian denomination. These guys are Persian. And then we've got like Parthia and the Parthians, and we've got like Media up there. Okay, so the Seleucids don't mind us for now because we joined that war against their independence. We could get some more local Persian archers, but seeing how we just destroyed a bunch, I don't know. Money, we're going to have an issue. They do have a fair few units down here in the south. It might be a good idea to potentially get a navy. We'll see how we go. But we've been quite lucky in these guys rebelling. It does seem like a lot of the Seleucid vassals are revolting, so we've been quite fortunate. It just depends which ones we go against next. Alright, let's end the turn and continue. Welcome to the top of the turn. 4 more units recruited. Turn times just take so long in DEI, so I think I'm just going to skip them. Okay, so let's go with a military sabotage here. They've moved out into a forward stance. Nice, so that's been successful. There's 13 units there, and then there's 12 inside. So let's march south. I wouldn't be opposed for them to intercept me. Can I get there? I think moving them there is a bit safer. There is a lot of mercenaries. Okay, so those buildings are going to be constructed soon. Huh. Okay, so during the intern phase, they've actually asked me for peace. So I'm going to reject. Welcome to the top of the turn. I will show turn timer stuff if it pops up. I might break that down. We've got a really bad food problem. And maybe public order. We're going to have to convert a lot of these lands as well. We probably could do with putting a dignitary in BAM. Okay, so let's continue to sabotage the enemy army in the city. Do I go for this fort, or do I try and move back to my territory here? Because it's so close on the border. We could do with some resupply. Or maybe we fort wall up and then move these guys in just in case. I want a full stack before I move against the settlement. And then maybe I move that army back so that it can get more infantry to come in. We are a little bit tight financially at the moment, only making a measly 2,000, so that's a bit of a concern. So we basically just don't want to overextend ourselves too much. So I want to be a little bit cautious and careful here as we push against this minor Persian faction. Okay, so we've ended the turn. They haven't seemed to intercept us, which is unfortunate for us. Okay, so the main problem is it's quite a large city on the coast here. So there's a pretty big garrison itself, and then there's a stack in there. Nearly half a stack. Can I pull you further back to get more reinforcements, please? Axeman. Yeah, I think the Morian allied swordsman is the best at our disposal. We're just going to need a huge volume because this siege is going to be quite brutal. And we have to be really careful early on because if we lose our only full stack, we're going to run into issues. But yeah, there's 14 units in size. It is units inside. It's the region capital. So we might need to be a little bit patient here. Like I said, we don't want to overextend ourselves too much. Okay, it's end of turn to continue. Now we're going to burn a couple turns here. Oh my god, what? You're kidding me. Somehow we got the RNG of them moving out. Who were they? Are at war with a lot of factions. Where'd they go? Did they go north? Okay, hang on. They might be up here. Maybe they're going to try and get their capital back. I don't know why they've abandoned that. So we might be able to push in here now. And we didn't intercept them? Oh my god, we're going to take this auto-resolve then. That would have been a absolute bloody and brutal siege. It's definitely not... It's not in the water here? Where did it go? We're having sanitation issues here, so maybe that's something we need to combat soon. Okay, let's move you here to give us a higher quality auto-resolve. And offensive sieges are always brutal in Total Wars. We've lost our elephants there, that's unfortunate. There wasn't many of them anyway. And particularly in DEI, we are... oh, it's actually north. Okay, so we're going to auto-resolve that. And we might lose BAM, I guess. But it's going to give us time to get some more units. Nice. So we basically averted fighting 14 units there. And then, yeah, so 30 units basically. We've halved the amount we had to verse. And this settlement is probably better than BAM anyway. So we are going to lose the quarry up there, which is annoying, but I think being patient there, we did burn a couple of turns, but I think it's worth it in the end. Okay, just making sure everything's okay. Probably could do with a third army near Pura. I can't afford for that region to fall. We have put a bit of economic development in there, bringing in the spice resource. That's going to pay dividends once we open up our trade lanes. And we've got a fair few available governors. Maybe we go with the chariots, just because we're in a little bit of a no, I think it's just worth it. We're a little bit on a squeeze financially. We don't want to have financial creep coming up too much just yet. Let's go with a baggage train there. That's going to be really helpful when we're going to be projecting into far enemy territory. Having a baggage train is a really good idea. Let's go with the male leaders there, making sure they have some household traits, just to get those minor little bonuses here and there. And we'll see what that army does, I suppose. It could come south, potentially. We're currently in a food issue. We're currently starving, I guess. -1. Let's drop all these. Okay, so they do have an army there we have to look out for. Let's continue on. Huh, okay, so they're going to come down and hit... that army. Okay, so we're going to retreat. Will they still attack? And they will. Oh, okay. Jeez. This is actually going to be a little bit tight. There's a fair few in that reinforcing army. We're favoured to win, but we're going to manually play this one because I think it's going to be closer. Alright, so first defensive siege of the campaign. Let's start. I don't want to put too many of those barricades down because it's going to probably cause friendly fire. So this first army, this unit here is going to come up. Could even send an army out to try and intercept it. We've got reinforcements coming in as well. Okay, so here come the Persians looking to retake their city. I got a little bit lucky, the Rome 2 bug, where they just like abandoned it and we're going for another target. That can sometimes happen, I don't know why they just leave. Or maybe they didn't see us in the fog of war potentially.
Our aim is true.
You do have to take that into consideration sometimes. Alright, so our Indian archers here up on the walls are going to start to get some shots off. Nice. I don't think the general unit there is going to be able to get torches off. To start engulfing the gateway. So they're just trying to waste my ammunition there. I do think they're taking some casualties because of it, so not too bad overall as a strategy. So we're going to sit back and just try and rain arrow tower fire upon them. We've got an unlimited amount. It's going to do the highest amount of damage, and we've got a decent amount of archers as well. They're going to start peppering. So hopefully we can soften them up enough before they make their main assault. I can't see them taking this city back, as they don't have any siege equipment. Okay, so the balance of power has actually swung back about 50-50, just because of the numbers. Oh, they do have siege equipment, but it's on this other side here. Oh, okay, because... what? How did they have siege equipment? Because they only had one unit. And it was the general. Maybe they just get it spawned? Oh, okay, so that's so bad for them. Well, hang on. We've got those reinforcing units. If we can sort of just sit around with that siege equipment we can stop them coming up. We might be able to get rid of this cavalry unit, though. That would be ideal. If we could get rid of that, that would give us a pretty decent morale boost overall. Now, this doesn't seem to be the most overly micro-heavy battle, so during battles, I tend to talk history in these Total War Let's Plays. So let's talk about the Mauryan Empire, one of the largest and most powerful empires in ancient India. It was founded by Chandragupta Maurya in 32 BCE. I'll try and get the pronunciation properly, but I'm not Indian, so my apologies. So the rise of the Mauryan Empire marked a significant turning point in Indian history, unifying most of the Indian subcontinent. So 322 and 298 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya established the empire, overthrowing the Nanda dynasty with the help of his advisor Chandrakya, who was an author, an ancient Indian state craftsman, political policy, and military advisor. Under Chandragupta's rule, the empire expanded to northern India and parts of modern-day Iran and Afghanistan, which is where we occupy. He is also credited with repelling the invasion of Alexander the Great's successors in the region, so hopefully we can do the same. 298 and 273 BCE, son Bindusara, who further extended the empire's boundaries southward. Bindusara maintained a vast empire effectively, but his reign is not as well documented as his father's or son's, unfortunately. The most renowned Mauryan ruler was Asoka the Great. In 268 to 232, he ascended to the throne after a power struggle following Bindusara's death. Initially, Asoka continued the expansionist policies of his predecessors and fought a war in Kalinga around 260 BC. The devastation and immense loss of life during this war led Asoka to a profound transformation. He embraced Buddhism, renounced violence, and dedicated his life to spreading the teachings of the Buddha. Asoka's reign is marked by his efforts to promote moral law, social welfare, and religious tolerances across his empire. He also erected a number of inscribed pillars and edicts on rocks throughout the realm, which can still be seen to this day. After Asoka's death, historically, the Mauryan Empire became not as influential and ultimately began to decline. Successive rulers couldn't maintain the vast and diverse empire effectively. Internal strife, weak leadership, economic issues further weakened the empire. In 85 BCE, the last Mauryan ruler was taken out by his general, and a new dynasty was founded, the Shunga dynasty, marking the end of the Mauryan Empire. So although the Mauryan Empire fell 2 millennia ago, it still has a pretty long-lasting impact on modern India in various ways. Its central administration, promotion of trade, spread of Buddhism, some various architectural achievements has, even today, shaped modern India's political structures, cultural heritage, and national identity. which I think is kind of cool. So if you're looking for a more in-depth and sort of more scholarly insight into the Mauryan Empire, I'd probably recommend Ahsoka and the Decline of the Mauryans by Ramilia Thapa, which is pretty good. It just basically talks about Ahsoka's reign and then decline of the Mauryan Empire. Also just the Mauryan Empire by Rad Hakumed, I think that's who it is. Goes into administration and cultural achievements. So I'd recommend those two if you want to have some expanded reading. So I hope you enjoyed that brief, short history. Let me know in the comments if there's any other Mauryan history you want me to hone in on. Maybe talk about specific Mauryan rulers a little bit more. But for this particular campaign, we want to essentially stabilize these outer provinces and maybe push westward as far as we can. Give Alexander the Great a little bit of his own medicine. But at the moment, the successor kingdoms are in decline, so it's a really good chance to go against them. I don't know who would be our natural enemy. Probably everyone. We're sort of against the world. I haven't decided overall strategically what's in our best interest of allying with the Persians, allying with the Parthians, allying with the Arab states, or potentially the Hellenic kingdoms. At the moment, it's easier to pick apart the smaller Persian kingdoms that have declared their independence from Seleucid rule, and so maybe that we're going to be able to farm relations with Hellenic kingdoms more. I would imagine, like, thinking from the tactical, from a campaign and militarily perspective, the Hellenic kingdoms are going to be harder to defeat in big cities because the Hellenic roster is more defensive. And yeah, basically if you're attacking a huge city and settlement with hoplites in it, it's going to be quite hard with our unit roster. But in saying that, we don't particularly want to be facing Parthians that are just going to carve us up in an open field battle, and we don't want to go too far north into the steppes and we're fighting Cossacks and horse lords, essentially. Okay, so I've just given the order to charge out of this gateway here because they were getting a little bit too close, so we can push them back. But at the moment, I really can't see us losing this. We've managed to strategically and tactically take the city in an auto-resolve. And at the moment, they seem to just try and push for the gateways. They're going for the manual burning of the gateway attack, which doesn't seem to be working for them. We might charge out a little bit more here. Okay, so looking at the balance of power, yeah, look at that. It's massively swung higher up into our favor, which is fantastic. But overall, if we continue like this, we're going to be able to get another victory under our belt. So you do just have to be a little bit careful. We'll see how we go now. And if we can go to war with some of the other successor kingdoms, we'll see. But some of them might still remain loyal, so we'll see where we go. Alright, we're going to engage some Persian spearmen here with our Mauryan allied infantry. Man, they look cool. Not the highest attack. The armor looks good. I do think that the Indian roster, like, it gets kind of insane towards the end. It's a little bit busted, but I get it. It's not in vanilla. There are some setbacks, because you are needing to slowly but surely push and convert the culture, so you don't get access to those Indian units just yet. It takes a fair bit of investment and time and money, and you basically, if you can't get a port on that western, well, it's I guess the eastern side of the Mediterranean, you're not going to be able to trade all these valuable resources, so we'll just see how we go. We're not going to be overly too profitable with that trade. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we kind of need to trade with factions. I don't know. We'll see how we go. Got a rough idea where I want to go in this campaign, and hopefully we can feel it. But hey, it's the sandbox experience of Total War. Generals can be taken out, and leaders, factions can rise and fall. Who knows what's going to happen here? We still have, like, Armenia, Pontus, Galatia. They might expand their influence. By the time we get to maybe Greece or Asia Minor, who knows, Rome might expand quite effectively. But we shall see. Okay, overall, I can't see us losing this now. We've got 4 or 5 units operating, actively fighting outside the castle walls now. But so far, this unit roster early on can be a little bit squishy. Because we are taking a lot of losses. But maybe it's because of the Persians. They do have a higher skirmisher volume. They've got some pretty good cavalry as well. Haven't even played as Persia. Media. Or we haven't played as Parthia in DEI. So maybe that should be on the list as well. Okay, let's charge on in. And I would imagine they're not going to last too much longer after this charge. Go on, Mauryan Empire sons, brave sons of India. Nice, decisive. Let's end that there. Okay, decisive, but we still lost 500. Which is still quite a bit in the defensive siege. Okay, so we've won during the end turn phase, which is fantastic. We did lose a unit, unfortunately. Okay, so hopefully this is the last of them. The garrison is still quite weak. And we'll try and run down the last of them at the top of the turn. They want trade, Himyar. Gonna say no. An edict has been issued. And this is what we currently control. So there's a fair few kingdoms surrounding us. Okay. So I can't upgrade this industrial building just yet. It's probably not a bad idea to do so at some point. We do have a market port here. Do we go with trade or we get some shipping in? Let's upgrade BAM, because it's always good to upgrade the settlement if you can. Maybe getting better quality agricultural buildings is probably not a bad idea either. Because we are very, very low in the food department. Once we start taking more settlements, it's going to add up. So let's quickly rotate this around, and we'll try and run down the last of them here. And this will be the first successor state vassal to fall. Okay, so let's go after the second army. There's one more here. No, technically we're going to get the trespass penalty. That's just annoying. Let's enslave. And Ahsoka's command stats are going to go up. Nice. Let's move you back here. Replenish and repair where we can. And we'll move back to Pura because they're going to have more replenishment, I imagine. Might try to get some Mauryan axemen where we go. And then we'll look to go after potentially another target on our border. If it doesn't put us in direct contact with the Seleucids, but we'll see. So overall, I think we've played the first couple of initial turns quite well. Okay, so let's give out some more stats here before we end the turn and continue. So we've managed to take 2 pieces of territory on our border quite quickly. So, bam, and then obviously not offensively sieging that city in the south is pretty good. I feel like we could have lost a lot of casualties in that fight if we were to siege and hold it out. We just got lucky when they moved out. It sometimes happens. I don't know why armies get weird around port cities. It happens sometimes. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. No huge developments to recap. Alright, so where do we go now? We need to restructure this. We've got 3 armies now. Bindusara. And then Ahsoka there. Let's move a baggage train in. That's going to help us massively with our supply. And let's just do that. Okay, so at the moment, our economy is still quite limited. Just because we can't do trade farming. It's not the most profitable here. in this part of the Far East. Okay, let's get you married off. So, Bindusara is our faction leader, and Ahsoka is our heir. So we'll try and get, what, 2 full stacks, and then we'll look for our next target. We'll see how we go. I would rather not attack someone to go to war with the Seleucids, although they are pretty far away with their capital in Antioch. They're still quite strong. So what have we got here? So 2, 3... okay. So they're actually remaining loyal, a lot of them still. Okay, so... not as many rebelling as I thought. The Seleucids are just at war with so many, I just assumed that more have and will rebel, so maybe I'm mistaken in that. Anyway, we'll build up 2 full stacks and repair, and then we'll make a decision on what to exactly do. Magna Graecia secured, that's good. Child is born as well. Nice. Now we are using submods for this campaign. The one I do prefer is Expanded Family Tree. It adds up like a fertility rate. I do find that the family trees just don't grow anywhere quick enough in DEI. So if you do want access to the submods, you can become a channel member. And the mod list is there in the community tab and in the Discord. Okay, so Indo-Hellenic units there. Interesting. So... once we build up, we might actually be better off to move into Arabia. Now, that is a little bit risky. One, we have to cross over a large body of water. We're going to need a navy. They are divided, which is nice. And if we go after the Arabs, we're not going to be angering too many of the other Persian nations. We haven't really been fighting Parthians. But if we go all the way over there, we can get carved and cut up in the desert. So, I don't know. And we're not connecting, so there will be a little bit of border gore. It's not going to be that aesthetically pleasing once we start painting the map a good old Mauryan blue. Our dignitary's gone up, so let's continue to get minus construction bonuses, which is always nice. Let's continue on. Research complete at the top of the turn. We've got a troubled populace. Okay. So let's have a look. So here are the Seleucids in Mesopotamia. They're only like one settlement around us, and all of these guys are currently their strappies still. So unfortunately, I'm mistaken. I've been quite unlucky in this playthrough. These factions either should have declared their independence, risen up, or maybe should have been attacked by other nations. So only one rose up. We can't go after these guys. Can't go after them, Parthava and Parsa. These guys, Bactria should own that. So, what do we got here? In Oman, the Mesquets. These are the Arabs here. They are at war with Hagar, so maybe we could ally with them. So, I think... oh, this is going to be so risky. I think it might be worth the squeeze. So, we're going to now... make plans and preparations to go into Arabia. Yikes. We're going to launch an Arabian expedition. Ahsoka of Arabia. Or Bindusara of Arabia. He's got the hat. He might be able to look a little bit like Lawrence. Okay, so we're going to need a navy to do that, because DEI, navigating waterways, is quite treacherous. In vanilla, you don't even really need to worry about it. But in DEI, supply is such a massive concern. We're going to need a navy. And you never know, there might be pirates down in the Red Sea disrupting trade lanes. If you get the reference. Anyway. So, we want to try and build a navy. We need to go there and protect the Red Sea. In the vital trade lanes. 2,000 years earlier. Okay. So, what do we need for that, though? It's going to take a little bit of investment to get a military pier. The thing is, well, then it's locked on this side of the map, so I don't know. They want trade. No, for now. Ships built. 1. Many more to come. Okay, let's move my spy into this sort of territory. I want to see what's happening here. I want to see what's happening into Nabatea, Egypt, and whatnot. I want to see what's happening in this side of the world. So, I think for now, we want to try and build up our power and influence. I think if we were to go to war with one of those vassals, I don't think we can get around the Seleucid vassalship. Oh, we're going to put a veteran in, just to give us some more additional stats and bonuses for our main army. Let's move Bindusara there. And give Bindusara the best army. I might just switch one of those infantry out. Okay. And Bindusara is going to head on over to Arabia. Now this can be quite risky because there's a big army there. And he's not going to have much supply or help, and there's nowhere to run to. So it is high risk, but maybe high reward. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend leaving the Middle East to go into Arabia if you're doing your own Mauryan playthrough, but we'll see how we go. So let's just have a look. So they are divided, thankfully. We might be able to use Eastern Oman as a staging area. Yeah, we're just not going to be able to go to war with them. Damn. Maybe we just have to wait a little bit longer. I do think there's like phases of Seleucid rebellion, so maybe it just takes time. But it seems like the Seleucids are holding their kingdom together. They usually get ganged up on by a lot of factions, but we'll just see how this goes. That's the thing is with Total War. Every single campaign is different. Okay, so now we've got a food supply. Okay. I want to try and land. Okay, so that's a bit better. Far out. Okay. So 20 and then the 6. How are we going to do this? So I think we trespass, obviously. I'm just trying to make sure... Far out. There's like 40 to 50 units there. We're going to need some more reinforcements. Okay. Because if we attack it, it just stuffs up the zone of control. Alright, let's try and get this veteran over here. I still want to try and keep some military presence here. Let's continue to move you to Egypt. We might be able to trade with them. Okay, so we're going to land, and then we'll see how we go. They might move. That could be a potential play. We are burning a fair few turns in this campaign, so I'm just being a little bit more patient. Tensions rise in Sicily. Instead of attacking straight up. Okay, so now we've got max movement. So I think what we do is we negotiate with the Arabs in Hagar. Or are they technically desert nomads at this point? Arabians. They're probably not technically Arabs, I don't know. Because it's still a couple hundred years off before the rise of the Arabs, I guess. Like proto-Arabs, I guess. Alright, so let's negotiate. Join their war. They're going to give me trade. I think we need at least one ally here. If they're naturally at war with them, they're a little bit further up as well. And it acts as a buffer to the Seleucid Empire. Maybe we try and make friends with Hagar. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, let's get Ahsoka to block that. Perfect. We just need to whittle down this. There are so many units here. Why is there so many? For one nation. It's insane. Okay, so let's bounce that, and we'll allow Bindusara to run down these units. So there's 2,000 here. It's half our army. We're going to get a crazy auto-resolve. We're definitely going to auto-resolve that. We're going to take those odds any day. So we are going to use the auto-resolve. A little bit cheesy, but whatever. I think we're going to need it. I don't think we would win that manually. Nice. So Bindusara is going to win that. And then what we'll do is we'll try and swing back around. We'll make sure... Oh, like siege equipment can't be built. If we move that... Hang on. Can I withdraw and I want you to siege. Oh my god. Can I try and move? I think I might have stuffed up here. I want to try and get them together. I need basically that army and the garrison to fight my two at the same time. Let's get some more reinforcements where we can. But eliminating those 2,000 there, that's massive. Because they kind of outnumbered me by about 4,000. It's the garrison that adds things up. Let's try and get the veteran over here. How's my spy doing? So we haven't encountered them. So more desert nomads here. We're sort of in Nabatea territory. That'd be a really cool faction to play as well, to be honest. Maybe even Saba. I don't know. I haven't played as many factions here in the Far East. Okay. Let's end the turn and continue. We'll see how the Arabians attack or whatever they do. Ah, they're gonna ask for peace. Interesting. No. So they are going to attack me here. Look, you know what? I think we're going to end this episode here. Shocker. On a cliffhanger. So, we'll play this one at the start of the next episode. And this could basically end in tears if we're not careful. So, outnumbered here, 2-1. That's like 99% not in our favor. 95. So, hopefully we can try and claim victory here today. Stay tuned for episode 2 coming out tomorrow. And we'll play this battle. Hopefully we can just do enough damage so then when the second army comes in, we can set Oman, destroy the province of Muscat, and set up this town as a base of operations. So like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.